Can I tell you something that took me a really long time to figure out myself? I didn't know how to be angry at the people that I love. Like, actually angry. Not surface level. I mean the deep, legitimate, this hurt me kind of anger towards the people that I actually care about. And for years, I thought I was doing a good thing. I thought that meant I was forgiving. I thought that meant I was emotionally mature. I thought that keeping the peace was the same as being okay. It wasn't. And once I realized that, it pretty much changed the way I move through relationships. In this video, I want to talk about 3 things. First, where it actually comes from. Because I think a lot of people that struggle with being angry at those who love didn't just wake up that way. Something made them that way. Second, what it costs you. Because when you can't feel that anger, it goes somewhere. And where it goes is almost way worse than the original thing. And third, what actually helped me start working through it. Not in a here's a 5 steps way, just honestly what shifted for me. I also just put out a song about this, and I'll share some of that towards the end because I think music was actually one of the things that really assisted me with this. But we'll get there. Okay, let's go. So, where does it come from? I think for a lot of people, and definitely me, it starts when you were way young. When you're in an environment where expressing your emotions felt unsafe or felt like it would make things worse. Maybe there was a conflict in your house. Maybe someone you love was going through something hard and you didn't want to add to it. Maybe you learned early on that being upset made adults uncomfortable. So you started to manage their discomfort rather than your emotions. The last one is the thing I really want you to think about. Because I think a lot of us, especially the ones that are called the understanding one, the calm one in our relationships, spent a lot of our childhood making sure that the emotional temperature in the room stayed steady. And we got really good at it. We actually started getting praise for it. You're so mature. You never make a fuss. You're so easy to be around. And you took that as a compliment because you were meant to. But here's the truth that nobody told you about. You were being praised for abandoning yourself. And here's what's wild about that, because this is the part that most people miss. When you can't direct your anger at the person that hurts you, it doesn't just disappear. It just gets redirected. Sometimes you redirect it at yourself. You tell the story where you're the problem, where you're too sensitive, where you should have handled it better. You carry guilt for being upset at all. You feel guilty for having needs. Sometimes you redirect it at random things. You blow up at something and then later you realize, why did I even do this? Because on the surface, what you snapped out about was nothing. But it's not about that thing, is it? And sometimes, and this is the one that I think does the most long-term damage, you redirect it at the person that's the most close to you. You become guarded in a new relationship because somewhere in you, you're still holding on to rage you never got to express. You're not angry at the new person, but they're the only safe target you've ever had. Think about that for a second. How many in your current relationships was you putting up walls, you getting defensive, the way you went cold instead of communicating? How much of that was just leftover anger that you never got to redirect at the relationships or at the people in your past? I'll tell you where this showed up in my own life. I grew up in a house where things happened. Things I didn't have the language for at the time. Things that caused a certain amount of emotional management, where I kind of quietly learned that my job was to be stable, to not add noise, to process things and move along. And I got really good at it. I genuinely thought that I was fine. I talk about things like this at a very calm, detached voice, like I was narrating someone else's story, so convincingly that I actually started to believe it. I thought that was healing. I thought that was growth. It took me a really long time to realize that what I was actually doing was just training my mind to believe it. And underneath all that calm, there was a quiet anger I had never let myself once actually feel. I found out my own pain the hard way, which is usually how you find out about things that you've been avoiding. I was in a situation where somebody that I genuinely cared about caused me pain. And instead of feeling the hurt, I went completely blank, cold. I pulled away without meaning to. And I remember thinking, why can't I just say that hurt me? Why can't I just be angry and have it be normal? And the answer was because I spent years convincing myself that being angry at someone you care about isn't actually love. But here's the thing, and I actually want you to sit down with this. Anger is not the opposite of love. Anger is the proof that something mattered to you. You don't get deeply angry about things that don't matter to you. You don't feel betrayed by strangers. You don't feel let down by people you don't care about. The intensity of the anger is a direct reflection of how much you cared about the person or the situation. So when you can't let yourself be angry, when you skip it, suppress it, rationalize it away, you're not protecting that relationship. You're just deciding that their comfort is worth more than your own truth.